AITA for not telling my coworkers that I'm polyamorous and laughing at them. I, 32 female, am in a polyamorous relationship with Ruby, my GF of 11 years, and Louie, my BF of 10 years. We all date each other and are locked off to dating anybody other than our present partner. I never addressed it to my colleagues since I didn't want to, and I don't speak about my personal life at work. My colleague Ken, who was aware I had a boyfriend, spotted me making out with Ruby at a pub a few weeks earlier and snapped some photographs. He supposedly began informing everyone that I was cheating on Louie and displayed photos of Ruby and me. I'd noticed that some individuals were giving me the cold shoulder, but I assumed it was because of my recent promotion. I was chatting to a colleague about her ex a few days ago in the break room, and I emphasized how much I despise cheaters, which caused Ken and a few of my other coworkers to start calling me out and accusing me of being a hypocrite. When I said that I had never cheated, Ken confronted me with images of Ruby and I at the pub and a recent date with Louie. Ken continued asking, "So, who are you dating?" while thrusting his phone in my face, so I simply pushed his arm off and said, "Both of them." That simply appeared to make him and others feel worse, and he began pestering me again, and I began giggling. I wasn't trying to be nasty. I simply thought it was humorous how angry everyone was over my connection, which they had no knowledge about. He stopped talking after laughing, and I used that opportunity to describe my connection and exhibit images of all three of us, including ones of Ruby and Louie kissing, and I joked about him photographing us like a stalker. Now, a number of my employees are upset because I hid my polyamory from them, and they're blaming me for making them seem like jerks for gossiping about me behind my back. AITA for not informing my employees about my orientation and then laughing in their faces. Edit. Just to clarify a few points. 1. Ken did not know any of my partners. He just knew about Louie and had no way of knowing whether I was still with him at the time. 2. I was not aware of any of the photographs being taken until Ken showed them to me. 3. Ken was absolutely following me, and I've been in touch with the police, so thank you to my colleagues who contacted me with some information about it. Update. I just arrived home, so here's an update on what's been going on. Yesterday, a number of my colleagues read my article and decided to inform me that he had been giving them more images than I had seen. A colleague in IT who was working yesterday night read it and went to his corporate computer to hunt for any potential photographs, and there were a bunch. When I spoke with HR this morning, they were aware of both issues because IT had alerted them when they found the pictures and sent them a link to my post, and my friend who works here had also told HR the day it happened. Even though I had initially told her not to worry, because they couldn't do anything until I made a report, which the pictures obviously changed. Ken was unmistakably following me. He was dismissed right away, and we had to call the cops since it was established that I was in imminent danger. I have a temporary restraining order in place until the court date, but he is presently in the custody of the police. HR had me leave early today, and I'm weary. There's a lot more going on right now, but some of it I can't speak about and others I don't want to. Sorry for the incoherent nature of this. I didn't get much sleep last night, and my mind was racing from everything. When I first wrote this, I didn't take the issue seriously. I assumed it was simply a colleague looking for some drama to spread, and I happened to be the best option. Ken had always struck me as a scary good person, but I never thought much of it, and when I laughed and labeled him a stalker, I had no idea it was real. Louie and Ruby were able to take some time off and are spending the day with me at home snuggling and watching movies. So if anybody has any ideas for nice movies, please let me know. I'm fatigued and want for this to be finished. Thank you very much for everything. You opened my eyes to the reality of the issue while I was shrugging it off as crazy colleagues. I'll keep you updated if anything else occurs, and I'll keep you updated if we go to court, as long as I'm permitted. Also, Ruby and Louie wanted me to thank you all on their behalf. They're reading over my shoulder as I write. Story 2. AITA for respecting my late wife's wishes about keeping her family out. My wife died last year when our daughter was just 3 months old. It was really tough to go through, but my little baby and I persevered. My daughter is now 16 months old, and my wife's sister has been pressuring me to let her side of the family to visit her. The problem is that my wife has had no touch with her family since she was 18, which amounts to 16 years of not seeing them. Her personal life was something she avoided discussing. I never pushed her to tell me since it always made her unhappy. All I know is that they were in some way manipulative and abusive. She left when she was 18 years old, changed her last name, and never talked to them again. She made touch with her elder sister 4 years ago, and she is the only person my wife has let into our life. That is to say, we met through video chat but never in person. We kept in touch after my wife died, and we met a couple of times before and at her burial. A few weeks ago, my sister-in-law phoned. She added that her parents would want to meet their grandchild and that they would prefer to start afresh. They didn't show up to my wife's funeral because they knew she wouldn't want them to. My wife was very clear that she did not want them around our kid. Ever. When I told my SIL this, she became quite unhappy. She stated it's been years, and sure, her parents were terrible people, again, won't reveal what they did, but losing their daughter has caused them to ponder. And they want to meet my daughter since my wife never given them the opportunity. She's still trying to persuade me, but I've answered no so far. Every time, I feel worse for refusing them, but it's what my wife wanted. Her parents discovered my Facebook page. I'm quite sure her SIL informed them, and I've received hundreds of messages pleading with me to inform my daughter about her mother's family. And I shouldn't restrict her from knowing her grandparents because of my errors in the past. None of them will leave me alone, and SIL has said many times that although I may be mourning the loss of a wife, I should also be sympathetic to their loss of a kid. Because I'm now too callous to refuse them the opportunity to meet the last piece of my wife they have left. I'm at a loss for words because I'm not sure whether I'm being in a hole or not. I'm not sure. I understand why my wife never wanted to see them again. Even if I did, I'd prefer to respect her request. However, the way they are behaving makes me question if I am. Update. I'd want to thank everyone for their kind words and encouragement. I was exhausted by the entire procedure, so all of your advice was really appreciated. Many of you shared your worries about my wife's family's intentions and advised me to take steps to keep my kids safe. I've taken this into account and taken efforts to guarantee they don't have access to any information that may reveal our whereabouts. And in the end, I decided it was better to break off all communication, not only with my wife's parents but also with her sister. I tried several times to explain to her why I wanted to support my wife's decision on this since she knew her family best and what they did. Despite all of the assurances that her parents have changed, she has still refused to reveal what happened, which was not at all convincing to me. After I banned them all, I began receiving calls from other numbers the following days. I sent her sister one last message in which I said that they were never permitted near me or my kid and that if they ever attempted to come bother us, I would contact the police. Since then, I've been radio silent for a few weeks, but I decided to be cautious a few days ago and changed my phone number. I've also deactivated my Facebook account since I don't use it very frequently, but I've made my other social media accounts private. Many of you have made excellent recommendations regarding how to ensure they have no access to my daughter, which I much appreciate. I kept a couple of these comments in case I need any further advice when my kid grows older and begins school. I now feel like I can breathe now that I haven't posted in a while and have broken communication. You have no clue how stressful and taxing the entire situation was for me, so please accept my heartfelt gratitude. I've been more at ease since putting everything behind me and focused on my lovely little baby. I just wanted to provide an update since I know there was a lot of uncertainty about how this would all play out. Thank you once again, Internet strangers.